Good morning, everybody. We got this Dodge up on the dyno, and I am not tuning this one, but we're going to do some power pulls. I'm going to get it up in the air. I'm going to strap it on down, going to get my dyno wide bin in there, and I'll be back. I want to explain a couple things. We do offer dyno pulls to see what kind of power you're putting down. This customer ultimately wants to see how good his tune is. I was talking to him about hooking up the dyno wideband since he doesn't have an air fuel gauge. Let's get into it though. Let me get this thing up in the air. As I'm getting this thing in the air, I stopped it really quickly just to see if this was condensation. It's really black, so I'm gonna be interested to see where this tune is at air fuel wise. And let me finish strapping it on. Doing a real quick once over, and you can see it is leaking some fluid. I noticed some wires that are up there. It's hard to see, but they're like underneath the piping. You can see the wires right there. They're just, seems like they're just loose and hanging. So just gonna do, like I said, a quick once over. Make sure everything is good to go to a point. You can see that leak is, well, there you go. You see more wires over there hanging out. I think this leak up front is also shooting back there. So got a couple exhaust leaks right there. I don't know if that's melted or whatnot a little bit. Going in the back, making sure everything looks good on this side. Okay, I see we got an axle boot that is ripped. So just the documentation. I'll take some pictures for him as well. That axle seems good. So I'm gonna hook up my wideband, strap this thing down, and I will be back. Gonna do some pulls, and then we'll talk about dyno pulls afterwards while I got some time here. So as I have his oxygen sensor disconnected, my oxygen sensor will not thread in because the tip is bigger. So you can see where it's actually scratching, and you can see the comparison here. So we're gonna have to put it in the tailpipe. I do have a little device that I can hook in kind of like to the tailpipe. So you know, I'd like to have it in there, of course, but it's not doable, and he doesn't have any other free O2 spots open. So I got the dyno wideband hooked up. Normally if I'm tuning a full out car, it's secured a little bit better. This should be good for 4 pulls. That's what that's how many you get for the dyno pulls. So just is going to sniff that exhaust, just weld it to a pipe. That there's no hole in this pipe right there, so it's not going to leak, but comes out the bottom. We'll see if it holds, do some pulls, get the customer over so he can get some pictures and videos, and I will be back. So about to do a pull on this car. I got traction control turned off. The lights on the dash want to go on because the front wheels aren't spinning but the back are. So car just has to be driven on the street for a little bit for those to reset. Not the end of the day. He's got 2 new text messages. His radio just alerted me. So yeah, I'll get a video of the power pull too. It held up, it did its job. Gonna unstrap the car off the dyno, go talk to the customer, explain a couple things to him, and I'm gonna be back and talk to you guys a little bit more about this as well. Before I come back here, have a couple seconds. Why do you guys think, from a business standpoint, I don't like doing just dyno pulls? I wanna hear the comment down below. Comments down below, please. Thank you. Okay, so all done with that setup. Now, did you get some time to think about it? And I'll say it has nothing to do with money. So the biggest problem of putting a car in the dyno and just doing power pulls is, and this is what the customer wanted to see ultimately. He wanted to see how good his tune was that somebody else did. So I can only document air fuels in that sense when it's on the dyno. He does have a device. I did tell him, hey, if you take a data log, I'll analyze it for you. I'll do a little bit more, no charge. The big problem is I put a car in the dyno and you want to see how good your tune is from somebody else. Well, what happens if that tune isn't good? Or what happens if another shop installed something and there's a problem on the dyno? You saw that this car was leaking fluid. I did speak to the customer about that. I went over everything in detail as my phone slowly slides and falls there. That's the big concern. The other big concern too, which is regarding the same sense in the tune, is a lot of guys have the pops and bangs types tunes and the crackle tunes. Well, those are known to hurt the engine over time. So, I don't know how aggressive that tune is. I don't know how long you've been beating on the car in a sense. Goes on the dyno, let's say the engine lets go. As much as people say, hey, I'm not going to put fault on you, I'm not going to blame you, it's a different story if it were to happen. So on this vehicle, of course, I'm paying attention to everything, and that's why I'm documenting everything. I did notice that as we were progressing with the pulls, it seemed like something was making a little bit more noise. Seemed like a rattle inside the engine bay. I don't know if it was coming from the supercharger. I will add, he was down on power. He was down on power a good amount. So he could have a boost leak in a sense. But ultimately, too, he was understanding. I mean, once again, has nothing to do with me. I didn't tune the car. I didn't put the setup on, nor did I promise the power he was going to make. So at that point, that's from the business standpoint. There's so many things that can go necessarily wrong, and then the finger gets pointed back on me. And like I said, it's a different story if it were to happen. A lot of people are always understanding beforehand until something happens. So, and the other thing too I will mention, if our tuning schedule is booked up, it's more of a hassle fitting a car in just for power pulls, and then you got to interrupt the tuning schedule. So, which we really don't have a time that we're slow for tuning. We constantly have stuff on the dyno that we're tuning. He got lucky. I had a day that I'm here and nothing is on the dyno, so scheduled him and we got it done. So hopefully you guys are understanding what I'm trying to say in that sense. And like I said, he was really, really understanding and went in great detail about everything with him. So let's go on to the next one. So we're on this car now. I documented it, I want to say 2 weeks ago, roughly. We were doing project updates. So if you did not see the video, beautiful EM1. We actually upgraded his turbo kit this summer. He had, of course, a B series, being an EM1. And now we're doing a K series all-wheel drive setup. So we took everything out. We got everything swapped out. I did mention in my one video, this car is going to get its specific videos where I'm just covering this more so. So there's going to be a little portion I'm going to try on YouTube where, if you're just into watching us build projects, you're going to see this one from start to finish in a sense. I say in a sense because, well, I don't have a dedicated video of this car with the engine in it of me talking about it. So we're going to pick up pretty much right here. You might even see this clip doubled in the project video. So we got this going on, and we got a bunch of other stuff too. I'll go shoot some of that as well right now. So one of the things we do here is trans rebuilds, and we have one on this bench right now. We have quite a few actually that we do on a weekly basis. The reason I want to talk to you guys about this really quickly, though, and I'm going to walk over there and I'm going to show you guys. So give me 1 second. So we have a trans right here that was dropped off by a customer. Now, I'm not going to touch it too much because I was informed when the customer dropped it off and they were looking inside the bag, there's a bunch of bugs on the transmission. Now, we don't mind you guys getting transmissions used from the junkyard and bringing them here for us to open them up, inspect, and do a rebuild on them. But I will say that if you do bring a trans in a specific condition, we have to clean it off. We have to clean it off, and the last thing we want to be doing is dealing with bugs all over a transmission. So please keep it in mind. Be considerate in that sense that if you're bringing us a part, you know, that it's not just crawling with bugs. We've had cars like this before where we've had to work on them and get inside, and there's like an infestation of ants. There is to a point that I will not force anyone here to be cleaning and taking care of an infestation of bugs. You know, I don't even know what to say. I'm kind of speechless when I heard this, but I'm also not surprised. You know, we signed up to be mechanics, fabricators, engine builders, and all that fun stuff. We don't want to be cleaning out bugs. So please keep that in mind. Be considerate about it. Gonna go back to that one trans I was showing you guys. So going back over here, I do not know fully what this transmission needs. What we do, so if you have a car that, let's say, it's grinding a gear and you want us to drop the trans, we can do all that stuff. Or you could bring us a trans that either you bought from a junkyard, you know, eBay. We can do a full inspection on it and then tell you what it needs. The one thing we can't do, though, is we can't tell you what it needs until we open up the trans. Now, as dumb as that may sound, we do get a lot of customers that will try to get a price on what it's going to cost to rebuild a trans, and we really can't tell you until we have all the parts in front of us. You know, if you need a couple gear sets, the price is going to jump a fair amount. If we're just doing a synchro refresh, well, it's going to be a lot cheaper. And then you also have to take in consideration how much we have to break down the internals of the trans. Of course, if we have to break down more parts, separate everything, it's going to be more in labor. So, you know, we do get these calls, we do get the emails and the messages where, you know, well, I want to know how much it's going to cost. Well, we can't tell you that. We can try to give you a ballpark, but there is a good there's a good portion where, well, let me rephrase that. The estimate is going to be, it might not be close because we can't tell. You know, it could be a wide variety or range is what I'm looking for. There you go. So, you know, and not a lot of people do know that we build transmissions. I don't cover it too much, but yeah, and then we can get you all the parts too. We're distributors of most major companies. Some companies that are out there we will not use because of the issues we've had in the past with their products themselves. And not only the products, but the customer support at the end of the day. Two big companies that we deal with are going to be GearX and Synchrotech. And yeah, so kind of just wanted to put it out there, kind of show you guys what we're dealing with. And, you know, you don't know what you're getting here on a weekly basis. You could be, you know, dealing with bugs. And I don't know. I truly don't know. I'm kind of a loss for words, but want to just kind of show you guys this. So since we were just talking about building a trans, let's talk about building a block. We had a customer drop this block off, and the process that happens here is when we're starting a build, the block goes to our machine shop. They do a full inspection of what we want. We do a visual before it even goes. And with this one, the cylinders are really, really rusty. So, of course, we wanted to get the go-ahead and make sure that it's good to go, but we got 2 pistons that are seized. Machine shop said, hey, see what you guys can do to get them out. So now it's here. We're going to see if we can get them out. But, you know, this is just one of those kind of conditions that if we can't, or if the cylinders are too rusted, well, we do have cores here that we can offer. So we're going to see if we can get that out, and either I'm going to come back to you on this one, or I'm going to show you another project we got going on here. So we're back on this car. This car was featured last week, the orange old school Civic. We completed the work that was within his budget. We let them know. He was super, super excited. Said we made his day. And then he dropped on more money for us to continue to work on it. So we're going to be doing the timing belt stuff now, water pump, all the fun stuff on this side of the engine. But let's go over. I want to show you guys the other project. We got projects after projects, work after work. I don't know if you want to call these projects. I call these maintenance more so. But let's look at the Supra. Let's go over there. So we got this beautiful Supra up. And, you know, I do get some comments, or, you know, guys will even come in and see cars in our parking lot, and they're, you know, they're like, you guys work on that stuff? And it's like, you know, we work on pretty much anything. We've been in business so long. You know, of course, when I first got into this, we were doing Hondas and Acuras only. But, you know, as we progress and grow and expand, you know, we've been doing this for so long. You know, we can work on, like I said, just about anything. So this car originally came in. It had a list of things that we found wrong, and ultimately it's back in here. I'm going to go see if I can find the list. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I have the list in front of us. There's, you know, a lot of the stuff's simple, and I think I posted some of the digital inspection that we did on this. But we got to secure some wires, some coolant lines. We have notes here that have expanded and are deteriorating. The turbo inlet was off last time. It looks like almost somebody kind of maybe tried to put it back on before it came back in. But the one big thing too, if I show you guys here, let me put down this list. And let me grab my light. So we have the turbo over here. You can see that there is some fluid, but it almost seems like, you see those little shavings? It almost seems like metal shavings too. So we did take off the one charge pipe too to see if there's any oil in it. There is, but there isn't a lot. So let me walk over here safely. You can see though a little bit of oil that's in there, and then what's happening is it's spraying it all out over here. So we're going to clean all this up ultimately and take it for a test drive and see if the oil comes back. So we got this going on. You know, it's just one thing on top of everything else that we do. And I will say, because I said it earlier, you know, there are probably some vehicles we won't work on. You know, we're not big into electric cars. You know, we can do the basics on them. But what I was going to say more so is if you ever contact us and it's something that we don't feel comfortable doing, we won't do it. We'll tell you right off the bat, hey, like, we're not set up for this, and it's better if you take it elsewhere. You know, the one big thing that a lot of new shop owners I see kind of get into is they take in work that they don't feel comfortable with, takes them way too long, and at the end of the day, you know, the job is not going to be up to par. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to get out of the way so people can get back to work and see if I got anything else going on really quickly. Well, a little update. Got the pistons out, and I don't know. We're going to see if this block is usable still with all the rust and whatnot. Ultimately, like I said, we'll get it back to the machine shop. They're going to give us their opinion. And just like I've been saying in my videos about relationships with your tuner and stuff, let me go grab my tripod really quickly. Okay, so as I'm wrapping up this video, I will add one more thing. As I've been saying in my videos, and as I was just mentioning, the relationship you have with your tuner and your mechanic is super important. And we have the same thing with places that we use, such as our machine shop. We don't have a machine shop in our shop just yet, but as I was saying, the relationship we have with our machine shop, you know, we're super close. We fully trust them, and this has been built up over the years. So it's been, you know, it's a relationship. With that being said, I will also add, you have been seeing a wide range of stuff that we do and offer. I have seen some comments where people have said before, like, why do you even take that stuff on? You know, let's just say that rusty block. You know, in my eyes, how I see it is that's the only block that this guy had. And maybe money's fairly tight, and he wanted to see if he can use the block and, you know, kind of go from there. And instead of just telling him no, go get a fresh block, I don't like to do stuff like that, because I just remember how when I got back into this, you know, many years ago, 25 plus years ago or so, when I would go to other shops and the car I was driving wasn't the cleanest car out there and literally couldn't even get the time of the day. You know, they treated me below average, and that has always stuck with me. So, you know, you're going to see high-end cars, like we have that Supra in here. I define that as a high-end car. And then you're going to see other stuff that we offer like that. We're going to try to build that guy's block. It just comes with the territory, and at the end of the day, I've said it before, I truly like helping people. So hopefully the machine shop gets back to us with some good news on the block. And we'll do some updates. I'll do some updates and keep progressing. So that's what you kind of been seeing in some of these videos too. Little progressions here and there, but I hope to keep covering more and more of progression. So with that being said, you will not see me before Thanksgiving. I hope everybody and their family has a good Thanksgiving and has a happy holiday and all that fun stuff. Got some other stuff, as I said, I've been working on, trying to keep doing that, but there's only so many hours in the day. I thank everybody, and I didn't even say it in this video, but if you got some kind of use out of this video, please like, share, subscribe, comment. Really helps the channel grow, and we're continuing to grow, and hopefully get to that next mile marker, which is 10,000 subscribers. So thanks, everybody.